calcium. Let me know what's
Yes.
going on there.
Our favorite plants are very magnesium hungry, but you have to get the calcium and magnesium in the right ratio. And I can tell you about that. It gets into a little bit of science, but I can tell you about that.
Okay, before we jump into that,
Yes,
explain to me. So calcium and magnesium, they're not like the main nutrients like NPK. They're secondary nutrients?
Yeah, you might as well NP and K. Nitrogen, phosphorus, and the K is potassium. All right, the P was already taken by phosphorus. NP and K, nitrogen, phosphorus, potassium, primary nutrients. Then you've got your secondary nutrients, and that's where calcium and magnesium fall. They're not needed in those giant amounts that the NP and K are, but they're still needed substantially. And then the other one is the micronutrients, and those are just needed in, ready, micro amounts. No, just very small amounts. It's things like boron, molybdenum.
Okay, and I know that calcium and magnesium deficiencies are something that are very common amongst growers. Explain to me how that happens, deficiencies in calcium and magnesium.
So calcium and magnesium are both needed by the plant. They're needed in different amounts. Now here's the problem, as it's a little bit of chemistry. I'm not a chemist, but when you look at these elements, they both calcium and magnesium, they have charges to them. These elements have charges, and calcium and magnesium both have two positive charges. So think of it as a magnet. They're going to be very strongly attracted to the negative particles that are in the soil, that want to hold that to the soil. It's the whole cation exchange capacity, whatever. And the point is that both of those are equally attracted, so that if you put them both in the equal proportions, we'll say, they can block each other out. They're going to be fighting for space in that soil.
Okay, and so you were talking about, before we jump too far ahead, actually,
Sure.
I want to talk about the deficiencies. How do I know if my plant has a calcium deficiency or a magnesium deficiency? Can you tell just by looking at it?
Yeah, you can. I mean, of course, Google's your friend. But calcium deficiency looks bad. Calcium is an immobile nutrient. It's actually in the cell wall. It's what the plant builds itself with. And when there's calcium missing, it's brown. You'll see like brown edges. The leaf actually looks like it's rotting.
And then magnesium deficiency looks a little bit different.
Yeah, it looks a lot different. You're like, hey, something's a little wrong there. That leaf is going from, properly colored green to yellow. And you'll see it's called interveinal chlorosis. Again, Google's your friend. But you'll see the veins are still staying green and the rest of the plant is going yellow. Now, magnesium is a mobile nutrient, which is very cool, because if you have a magnesium deficiency, you can water a little bit of magnesium in and it will fix the problem. It can actually move to where the problem is.
But that's not the case with calcium?
No, with calcium, what you got, the damaged tissue is what you got. It's not going to get any better, but more tissue that's non-calcium deficient, that's healthy.
So
hopefully grow in its place.
Stuff that's already grown is already lost, but by adding calcium, you can make the new growth better.
Exactly. Like I said, calcium is deposited in the cell wall. It's not mobile. What's broken is broken.
Gotcha. Okay, so let's talk about, if you have a calcium deficiency or a magnesium deficiency,
Sure.
some ways to get calcium or magnesium into your plants.
Easiest way is Epsom salts. As far as for magnesium, it's magnesium sulfate. Plants like sulfur as well. Sulfur is a secondary nutrient. Some people will argue with it being a macronutrient because a plant uses a lot of it, or at least our favorite plant uses a lot of it.
Okay, so Epsom salt and magnesium nitrate for magnesium.
Yeah, magnesium nitrate is something where when you look at like the bottles at the grocery store, a lot of them, the liquids are magnesium nitrate.
Okay, what about for calcium? If I'm noticing I have some calcium deficiencies.
Again, calcium nitrate, lime, gypsum, bone meal is an organic source of them, and these are all like bone meal, super slow release source of calcium.
Guru once told me eggshells.
Yeah, eggshells are an excellent source of calcium. They do have to be broken down. That's why, whether it's eggshells or bone meal, they all have to be microbially processed. Did I say that right? Microbially.
It reminds me to add some recharge to the mix.
Yeah, well, absolutely, man. It's certainly going to speed things up.
Okay, and we can add them in one at a time, but I've also seen products that have calcium and magnesium both in one product.